Welcome everybody back to another Is It Good review. I am Brian Daniels, and I'm here to provide you with my review of WWE 2K23. We're going to cover all the modes here, and before I do that, I want to thank 2K for providing me with a copy of this game to review. I got this game early. I've been playing a ton of this game lately, probably about 20 hours of playing this game, and there's a lot to go over, there's a lot to talk about, but the first thing we're going to talk about is the Creation Suite. And let me tell you, this Creation Suite is just amazing. So of course, like last year, you got to pick your starting class, your weight, and things like that. And you have your different personas to choose from. But if you don't notice already, my thing with the creator wrestlers and such in previous wrestling games is that, well, they've never really felt like, I feel like the character models have not looked as good as the ones that are actually scanned into the game, like the actual superstars in the game. They just didn't seem like, I didn't feel like my character was as on par look-wise as the other superstars in the game. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you can't notice already, the way these character models look here in the Creation Suite, they look really, really good. I would dare say these are some of the best looking CAWs I've seen in the game, and it really helps too when you go, to community creations, and you go to download, people's characters they've made of other wrestlers and such. It absolutely is an improvement, and if you've never really messed with it, you should. By the way, what you can do this year that you couldn't do before is you can actually create your character here and upload them and import them rather into the MyRise modes, and we'll talk more about MyRise later. Next thing I want to get into is the updated My GM mode, and yes, they did add some new GMs. You can see they got good old Xavier Woods here, Tyler Breeze, the guys from Up, Up, Down, Down. Mick Foley is in here, and a few others. And yes, it's 4-player, but it's not online. It's just not online. Why is this not online, 2K? What you doing here? So yes, of course, you can use share play on PS5, and I am reviewing this game on the PlayStation 5, but outside of that, there is no matchmaking, no lobbies, none of that, and I'm really hoping that's something we get next year. So you see here, I'm doing a draft, and you're probably wondering, whoa, it's WCW. That's right, they added WCW as a brand that you can run alongside of Raw and SmackDown, and they also did NXT and NXT 2.0 for those who care about that. So another thing I liked in the addition to this mode is they added mid-card titles. So your stars are not just vying for the top prizes on each show. They do have mid-card titles, like for WCW, it's a hardcore title. Raw is of course the United States title. SmackDown is the Intercontinental, and so on. And so you now have your choice of belts to compete for. And yes, they even added tag team titles as well, which I do like that as well. Biggest addition here is, well, what are you trying to do? What's the goal? Well, the goal is to enter the Hall of Fame. And it's basically the first GM to get 10 Hall of Fame trophies. You can see those in the top right corner. But you don't have just one season to do that in. You have multiple seasons now. Unlike last year where it was just 1 year, you have multiple seasons. And you can see here in the show logistics screen that you actually have to earn things this year, and you have to play multiple seasons to unlock a lot of the things you need to book a show to make your shows better. Because last year, you got to unlock everything within a year, but this time around it's a lot more competitive. There's seasonal challenges, you can see those there, which some of those unlock power cards, which those have returned. And some challenges, like for instance, if you complete 5 challenges, you earn a Hall of Fame trophy. They even added some a GM career achievements. So like you get a trophy for earning so much money in lifetime revenue or having a total amount of fans and things like that. Basically, you just want to beat the other GMs you play against. You can play against 3 other CPU GMs if you want. I do like this GM assistant screen. It's a very quick and easy way to pull up stuff. They even add superstar shakeups too, and those can happen during the season where superstars can get kind of moved around. Next thing I want to talk about is the My Faction mode. And yes, they added multiplayer here in My Faction. However, the only problem with that is it's only friendlies. It's quick play. There really is nothing to it. I didn't feel like there was any rewards or anything like that. And it says it's a season. I was hoping this would be a season much like the other 2K game, NBA 2K 22, 23, where you actually earn XP and you level up and you get cards and things like that. That's not the case here. So it's kind of a big L on that. They did add this new thing called live events too, where you get different randomly, daily or weekly events you can do to try to win cards and things like that. Of course, all the other modes return as well, like the towers and all that other stuff that came back from 2K22. But other than that, very disappointed in the multiplayer being just friendlies. Moving on, we got the showcase mode. Cover athlete John Cena is the showcase mode here, and it's called Never Give Up. And these are all the matches where John Cena has lost. You will be playing as all of John Cena's opponents in each of these 17 matches. My favorite match being this one right here, of course, John Cena's debut as the prototype versus Kurt Angle. Yes, there are match actions that progress the stories or the matches you see in the top left corner. And completing these will unlock various rewards, several different versions of John Cena throughout the years, as well as versions of other, superstars such as Edge, Kurt Angle, The Rock, and etc. And this is by far and away the best showcase mode I've ever played. There's a few funny moments towards the end, but I won't spoil that. But I highly recommend beating this mode. You do get to unlock some really cool things. You get to unlock certain belts and tires and arenas and such. And overall, this is a really fun mode, and John Cena does give his commentary before each match about the match. And go check it out. If you're a John Cena fan especially, go check it out. If you're not, I say check it out anyway. It's a lot of fun and definitely well worth checking out. Moving right along, let's talk about Superstar mode. That's right. Or actually, better yet, Universe mode, where I'm starting off with Superstar mode. Well, you get a menu, and it kind of shows you what your win-loss record is, the title you earn, things like that. Universe mode has changed, and there's been some really great changes that in fact make you actually want to play Superstar mode. Now Universe mode has been a mode where I really haven't messed around with it all that much. It's not a mode where I really particularly played a whole lot, but now that this mode is in fact improved, and you're going to see why in just a second, it's definitely a mode that you should definitely check out. They did add, the curation menu is back, and that's something that you can, do every week or every 4 weeks and kind of give your Superstar mode some guidance on where they want to go. You can switch back and forth between Superstar mode and Classic mode, which is what you're seeing here, where you can book shows and things like that. My favorite thing that they did add is this action. This is the rivalry actions is what it's called. Almost forgot the name. And what that allows you to do, you're going to see here in just a second, is going to allow you to pick predetermined actions in the form of cutscenes and things like that, and really curate your experience, especially if you want to bounce back and forth between Superstar mode and Classic mode. And these actions are things such as starting the match off by knocking out the referee. You can make a match a loser leaves the brand match. So like if, say for instance, you win the match, or whoever wins the match, the other person has to leave the brand. And it's kind of nice because that way you can kind of set up for them to debut on another show, or if you want to take them off TV for a while in your own personal stories that you create, you have the freedom to do exactly that. And that's something I love about this mode, as well as being able to really just curate the mode the way you see fit this time around on Superstar mode. And it's definitely something that I thoroughly enjoy. And honestly, it's going to make me play Superstar mode a lot more than I used to, because I never really played this mode all that much. And it's definitely a mode that I will now probably enjoy playing a whole lot. And for those of you who really have not played this mode all that much, this is going to be an addition that's going to really breathe some new life into the universe mode. And especially when you want to play as a superstar, you pick any of the wrestlers and be a superstar and play individually, you can definitely have way more control and not have to pray for a cutscene to happen, unlike in previous versions of the Superstar mode. So, moving right along, after we talked about Universe mode, let's talk about My Rise. So this year in My Rise, you have two modes. The Legacy mode, which is the female version, which has you facing this, following the footsteps of your aunt. And there is the Lock, and that's the male My Rise mode, which basically has high expectations on your character as the male superstar here in My Rise mode. Basically, you've been labeled the quote-unquote next big thing. So My Rise mode is back once again, as I said, and they've made it a lot better to navigate around. You see little icons there, and the exclamation mark icon means it's a new story. The fist means it's basically like a challenge that gives you, added bonuses and attribute points and etc. The menus are still very much familiar like they were in the years past. And as I said earlier in this review, you can import your create a wrestler this time around, so you don't have to wait to do any upgrades or things like that. They did bring back the different branching paths, which is interesting because I don't really see any sense of turning heel, or there really is no heel or face options in here, but there's just multiple paths and multiple decisions. So I guess maybe you're supposed to just kind of figure it out for yourself whether or not a decision's going to be a heel decision or a good decision, like to turn you face. But I will say, what I've played of the story, I've thoroughly enjoyed so far. I've not had any issues with the game loading, but what I say is that the loading times in this mode are extremely long, and longer than they have any right to be on a version of the game rather that is a next gen version, which is what this is. So I don't understand loading times. There were a few times where I wasn't sure if my game was going to load. So while playing the game, there are match things you have to do. Like for instance, this one I got a damaged Drew Gulak here enough to fill up that meter. You're gonna have several instances of this throughout the mode where you got certain things you have to do, or like get them in a certain hold or do a certain grapple attack and things like that. And still, it was kind of expected, and I enjoy that. There are branching paths and things like that. It looks like there's just chapters this time around, whereas there really wasn't any chapters in the My Rise mode last year. This feels like a very directed path, like a very well put together story, unlike My Rise mode last year, which kind of just felt all over the place and changing brands and things like that. As I said before, you still get choices. There are various choices you have to make in this mode, various decisions, like, for instance, what faction you're going to join, or what belt you're going to go for, or who you're going to align with, or who you're going to wrestle in that match, for instance. But all in all, the My Rise mode, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a fun experience. I haven't finished it yet. It's pretty long from what I've heard, but all in all, there's a lot of familiar faces you'll see in the mode. You can see Alpha Academy with Drew Gulak there, just giving me the beatdown, a proper beatdown, if you will. But all in all, this game is amazing. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. From the entrances, I will say I wish they would bring back Sami Zayn's Worlds Apart entrance. They got his shirt updated, but not his theme song. That's kind of weird. But other than that, everything is spot on. This is a much more improved game compared to last year. I have yet to have any issues with bugs, glitches, any weird things happening, but this is only from my perspective, which when I review a game, I only review from my perspective, not from other people's issues that they've had with the game. This is strictly based off of my own gameplay. So my experience may very well be different from your experience, and I'd love to know your experiences with WWE 2K23 in the comments section below. I do read the comments. I do respond to the comments. But let me know. Do you think this is a good game? I absolutely do. It's very much improved, and there's a lot of room for growth here as well. As I said, my GM mode, I wish it was online. The My Faction mode could have a lot more meat to the online mode, if you will. But other than that, man, the characters look good. The gameplay is smooth. I really love the new pin mechanic where you have to kind of flick up the right stick and time it with the little bar moving back and forth to kick out instead of that, pushing the button multiple times just to get a kick out. But other than that, all in all, this is a stellar game, and it's definitely an amazing game that everybody's gonna have a ton of fun with, whether it's playing through My Faction mode or doing your My Rise mode with your own created character. Universe mode, there's lots of options there, and even the My GM mode is updated. So 2K did a really excellent job. I do like the fact that they brought back, the combos again. Although I kind of wish sometimes wish they would just go back to the regular grappling too, like pushing one button to do a grapple and then just doing the directional stuff. But outside of this, the combos are still kind of weird for a wrestling game, doing heavy, light, and grapple combos. I think that's kind of weird for a wrestling game. That makes it kind of feel more like a fighting game, like Street Fighter or Tekken, which I don't want my wrestling games to be. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this below. Be sure to subscribe to the domain for more reviews, news, and things like that. And we do convention travels and reviews as well. But let me know your thoughts below on WWE 2K23. Thanks so much for watching this review, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy, guys.